can start.
All right. Well, welcome everyone. Good evening. We're so glad to have you here. I'm Dusty Davidson, owner and manager of Showtime Travel Agency, Dream Vacations, and we are so excited that you've taken your time to join us this evening. We are your river cruise experts, and we are happy to be sharing our evening with Lori Smith from AmaWaterways, who's going to tell us all about the AmaMagna and the Danube and all sorts of great stuff about AmaWaterways. Ama is our favorite to travel on. We have done several cruises with them, and we are in love with Ama. So we are especially excited to have Lori here to talk through everything with us. We are recording the session. If you have any questions, please feel free to put that in the chat, or since there's a few of us here, you can chime in, and we're happy to answer any questions that we can along the way. And we've got some information about some groups that we're putting together that we'll share with you at the end of the presentation. So, Lori, welcome. It's good to see you.
You too, Dusty. Thank you for having me, and welcome everybody. It's wonderful that I get to talk about our flagship, the Magna, and I can't wait to share pictures, but I was noticing the dates of the groups that Dusty picked, and it happens to be my two favorite times of the year. So it's really going to be, it's a good night. It's a good night. So I hope you grabbed a glass of wine or a beer, your favorite cocktail, and we call this our sip and sail cocktail hour, and you'll find out why in just a bit. But just wanted to start by saying that we're celebrating our 20th year anniversary this year. Ama means love. When Dusty said that he loved AmaWaterways, Ama means love. And for 20 years, we've been in business, family owned and operated. So really, really excited about that. July the 3rd. So I really want you to really pay attention to this slide, because it really tells you about river cruising. You know, oceans take you to countries, but rivers take you right through them. This happens to be on the Rhine River, but you'll be on the Danube, which is a beautiful, beautiful river. And when you look at this, you really realize that rivers, these are the rivers that the Romans navigated. So you've got a lot of history, a lot of culture, and that's what we take you to. So river cruising is one of my favorites. I just got back from Portugal, so that's now a new favorite river, but we'll talk about that in just a bit. But it's important for you to know our financial stability, especially coming out of COVID. You know, Rudy Schreiner, Christine Karst, and Gary Murphy, those are all of our owners. We're still family owned. All of our vessels are paid for. So we have 25 vessels right now. We have 22 of the 25 in the water sailing, and it's been a wonderful, wonderful comeback. We are full force sailing rivers right now, and all of our ships are paid for. So that's how Rudy made it through COVID, and that's how he said he can sleep at night, right? Because all of our vessels are paid for. We're even building a new ship, and it's on a new river, on the Magdalena. So let's look at, before we start on the Danube, let's look at where Ama travels. And maybe you want to take a trip this year and next year with Dusty. So we start in Portugal, down here. Beautiful, beautiful Douro River. We've got two itineraries. You can experience a little bit of Spain, and I did Enticing, which was 3 nights pre-Lisbon. It's a fantastic cruise, and it's a fantastic location. The flavors of Portugal are just incredible, with the port wines, and it was just unimaginable. The food, the entertainment. Also, let's move to France. We cover really all of the regions of France, the Garonne and the Douro. So if you're interested in Bordeaux region, that's an incredible, incredible itinerary. All the big houses, Saint-Emilion. You're going to experience some fantastic wines. How about the Saône and the Rhône? We've got the Ama Christina, which is a twin balcony vessel on the Saône and the Rhône. And that's going to be your Châteauneuf-du-Pape, and really the south of France, really that infusion. And then we're on the Seine River. Maybe you want to do a little bit of history, the Normandy beaches, we've got product there that takes you to the Normandy beaches and Saint Michel. You've got art on this one, maybe Giovanni Monet's garden. So there's a lot to see on the Seine River. And then we move to the Belgian and Holland waterways. And this is the Scheldt and the Maas River. These rivers are a little bit different than the tributaries off of the Rhine River. So that's a fantastic itinerary too. We do tulip time. Maybe you've always wanted to go to Amsterdam for the tulips for tulip time. Then the Rhine and the Moselle River. We have the Rhine and Main Canal, and then we go all the way to Basel. And then we do the Rhine-Main Canal, the Danube, the upper Danube, which we're going to concentrate because the two groups that Dusty has, one is upstream and one is downstream. So Wilshofen to Budapest and opposite direction, Budapest to Wilshofen. Fantastic itinerary. Also, the lower Danube. So we go from Budapest to Giurgiu or Bucharest. Beautiful itinerary. And you can do this all in one trip if you wanted to, if you can do all of the Rhine, the Danube. Then we get into our exotics, and I call our exotics Egypt, Asia, and Africa. Our Egypt product is a 12-night product. It has 7 nights on the Nile, 3 nights pre in Cairo, and 1 post. Then you can do extensions, go into Petra, Amman, into Jordan or Dubai. Also Asia. So we will start on the Mekong October 17th. And the Mekong, we have not sailed on the Mekong in almost 2.5 years. So it's a long overdue, and we'll have our first sailing October 17th. This is Siem Reap to Ho Chi Minh, or Ho Chi Minh back down to Siem Reap. So we've got extensions there also. Great pricing on it also. And maybe a safari has always been on your bucket list. How about a 4-night river safari with maybe a 5-night land safari, Kruger's National Park, Victoria Falls, the Rovia train, or maybe South Africa, or maybe Rwanda and visit the gorillas. So this is a product that you can add on to, just like our Asia and our Egypt product. New to come is going to be the Magdalena, and that's going to be in Colombia, Barranquilla to Cartagena, and upstream and downstream. However, the Magdalena flows upstream, so I'm going to have to reword that, right? But this is really our breadth of product. 14 river and waterways, 23 countries, 33 itineraries. We even have a 46-night journey if you really wanted to do all the rivers of Europe. So I know Dusty would help you if you wanted to cruise on that sailing. That's for 2023. We have a spring, summer, and fall sailing. So we do have 4 seasons on the Danube and the Rhine, basically. France, 3, I call it 3.5. My 2 favorite times of the year is the top left-hand picture and the bottom right-hand picture. And that is the times that Dusty picked to do his cruise, his group. So springtime or early sail season, we lay off for January and February. We don't sail around that time. The ships are going through dry dock. They're getting some software updates or anything that we need to do. So we start our sail season middle to end of March. And that's the time that I love. It's early spring, the flowers are blooming. It's a beautiful time to be on the Danube or the Rhine. And then we move to summer. All the chateaus are so beautifully appointed with their gardens. It's a great time to travel, but a little bit crowded, you know. Right now, no, not so much, because there's not the big crowds like we normally see. And then we have on the left corner is going to be autumn, and that's going to be Crush. That's going to be Oktoberfest. It's a beautiful time. It was the first time that I sailed last year in August, because I always stayed away from August because the Europeans travel in August and they're always on vacation. They take months vacations. I'm so jealous. But it was a beautiful time on the Wachau Valley because I did actually the Danube, and it was lush and green, and it was right before Crush. So you still had that lush green, and the temperature temperature was perfect. So now I have a different idea of August. It was late August, but I still have a different idea of what August looks like in Europe. And then Christmas markets, just magical. We're going to talk about Christmas markets along the Danube, and you have such a breadth of product on the Danube with the different seasons. So you're very lucky that you may be able to choose one or the other. One's in the beginning of the year of 2023 and one's at the end of the year. So maybe you can do both. Maybe you can do both. After we talk about it, you probably will. So a big trend for us is ocean to river, and you're picking a fantastic product because it's our top of the line, and that's the AmaMagna. She's parked in Passau, and what a beautiful vessel. Only 196 passengers, where some of my competitors put 196 passengers on a 110-meter vessel, not double the width or a little bit longer like the Magna is. So a lot of personal space. We're going to talk about, you have suites that start at 252 square feet all the way to 710 square feet. So it's a very different product. It's our flagship, and she's a beautiful, beautiful vessel. So this is her docked in Passau. This is exactly where you're going to be docked on any one of these itineraries. So let's talk a little bit about the inclusions. And we talked about that famous sip and sail cocktail hour. It's kind of one of my favorites. It's right before dinner every evening. We serve a cocktail of the day. And let's say you don't want a lemon drop tonight, and maybe you want just a glass of champagne or maybe a certain wine. You can certainly have that. Maybe you want a vodka on the rocks. You can certainly have that. So we do have included our sip and sail cocktail hour. I was telling Dusty earlier, it's so much fun because you all, even if you're in a group, you tend to go on different excursions. We have up to choice of 6 excursions in the port. So you may do a bicycle hike or a hike, and another person may do a city tour. So it's a great time to come together and talk about what you did for the day. So our innovative fleet, you'll see our Riverview staterooms, 152 passengers is our average 110-meter vessel of what we put on our vessels. Up to 6 choices of excursions in small groups, and that includes gentle walkers. Maybe you want to go into our gentle walker category, regular walker, active walkers. Maybe you want to do some more active biking and hiking tours. You can certainly do that. And let's say you want to do 2 tours in a day, you can certainly do that. And it's all complimentary. There are only a couple in Vienna that you pay for, and that's Schönbrunn Palace and one of the concerts. And it's a very modest fee. But in all the other ports, everything's included. We have the most important beer and wine included with meals. Now, when you're on the Danube, you're going to have wines from the Wachau Valley, from Austria. You're going to have a couple of Rieslings, but some fabulous wines because we pick those wines of the region. We do have, I talked about our sip and sail cocktail hour before dinner, and that's all included. We have our chef's table, and on this vessel, we'll talk a little bit about it because the dining's a little bit different because we have 4 restaurants to choose from, but we do have a chef's table. It's a 6 to 9 course pairing with wines, and that is accommodates 28 passengers at a time, and all that's complimentary. We have our exceptional crew and staff that will just wow you all week and pamper you while you're on board, and also our cruise manager. So if you decide that you want to do a pre or post on any of these trips, our cruise manager will be with you the entire time. So it's a nice way for you to have the cruise manager to start the journey or in the journey with you. So they're with you the entire time, and our cruise managers are top notch. Also, we do have professionally trained wellness hosts. So maybe you want to get a little bit more active. I always say, take the stairs, not the elevator. Start your trip off. That way you can eat more. And I do eat my way through our itineraries because it's incredible. And then, of course, our solo passengers. We do have solo rates for our passengers, not on every sailing, but we do have solo rates. We do have complimentary Wi-Fi. I know that sometimes we pay more for Wi-Fi than we do with our diesel. Maybe not this year, but it's an incredible, I normally have to work when I'm on board, and you can always stay connected. And we do have our AMA app that I hope you download before you get on board, because it is right in your hand, and you can take pictures, upload them, and send digital postcards to your friends. It's a lot on the app, and we can talk a little bit about that later. And then, of course, it's a leisurely pace, a casual pace. You only pack and unpack once. So that's really what makes up river cruising. You're not going to get back and feel like you have to take, another vacation to unwind from this one. It's really, really relaxing, and you can be as active as you want, or read a book, catch up on a book if you want when we're scenic sailing. It's absolutely beautiful. My favorite time is I take my morning tour, or I sleep in late, do a late rises breakfast, and then I have the option to either stay on board or just go into the destination and explore on my own. And that's really what river cruising is about, finding those little cafes. I always recommend don't eat on board for lunch. Go out into the destination and find that little cafe that's serving the best wine. And it's always a memory that you're making there. So we're going to look at the Magna. We're going to go on board. And just to give you an idea, this is a 110-meter vessel that we have, and that's our normal vessels, except in Portugal or any of those vessels, because they're a little bit smaller. But this is the Magna. She's double the width and a little bit longer than our 110-meter vessel. She is our flagship. She is part of when we won the Green Award for our vessels. So she is part of that, of winning that award. So we're going to go on board, and this is the lobby area. Looks a little bit different than our other vessels, because remember, she's a very wide vessel. You can see there, you can load on the left or the right-hand side. So it's just a nice, welcoming lobby. And then, of course, the extraordinary service from our captain, cruise manager, to our hotel manager, our maitre d'. Everyone is there to, and I think Dusty can probably attest to, just the service levels on board are incredible on all of our vessels. So this is just everyone cheering, probably at our welcome reception, our captain's welcome reception. And of course, we have a 24-hour coffee and tea station, always available. If you want that cappuccino 24/7, you can have it. We do have water bottle stations now. We're trying to be a little bit more green. Everybody fills up their water bottle, takes it on the tour with them, or before they go to bed. So we do have that available. Also, local entertainment. And this is actually my photo. This was actually a Hungarian troupe that came on board, and they were incredible. They were from Hungary, and then we had them in Budapest. Very, very interesting. So we bring the destination on board. When we were in Vienna, we had a sing-along. We did, of course, Salzburg. We did the Sound of Music tour. And then that night we had opera singers that came on board, and they started with one song from the Sound of Music. And we ended up doing probably singing till 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock. It was the wee hours of the morning. And I think we sang every song with them. It was a really fun night. So that's the type of entertainment. We bring local entertainment on board, and it's just a wonderful way to enjoy the destination. So on the Magna, you will have the elevator that goes from bottom to top. So it will go all the way up to the sun deck. On our 110-meter vessels, it only goes to the third floor, and then you have to walk up the stairs to get to the sun deck. So this is unique because the elevator, you can see that the elevator will go up and down, because when we go under a bridge, we may have to lower it, just like we have to lower the wheelhouse. So a lot of space. If you decide you need to take the elevator, or maybe you have mobility issues, we can certainly accommodate that. So this is a couple of slides that I put together for the amenities that are on board. The Portside Library. We even have a cinema. So you may go to Vienna and watch and see the Sound of Music tour, see the cathedral in Mondi's that the movie was filmed in, and come back and watch the movie, and grab some popcorn and Coke. So it's always nice. We have a little theater. Maybe you want to have your hair done for the captain's dinner. You can certainly do that. And of course, we have our sun deck garden, which is basically our herbs that the chefs use. So talking about dining, that's a big aspect of river cruising, right? We're part of the Château et Tissière, which is a French gastronomy membership. And we've been members. This membership dates back to medieval times. Of course, Rudy was inducted in our second year of sailing. So all of our vessels were inducted in it. So it brings a level of cuisine. All of our produce, everything is locally and freshly sourced. So when you go on your tour, you'll come back and all of our staff are loading provisions for the day. We load provisions for the day. We don't load them for the week. We have no freezer space. We don't freeze food. So we're bringing you the freshest local ingredients. All of our breads and pastries are baked on board. And of course, if you have a dietary restriction, we can certainly accommodate that for you. So as you can see, the chef here is getting ready probably for the chef's table, or maybe just a meal. So you have 4 unique dining venues on the Magna. You have the main restaurant, top left-hand corner, and then we have our al fresco dining restaurants. If you want to be half inside, half outside on a beautiful night, you can certainly dine breakfast, lunch, or dinner. And then we have Jimmy's Restaurant, and that is our family style restaurant. So they come in large platters and you share. It's a wonderful evening. It really is, and it's after one of our owners, Jimmy Murphy. So it's a great dining venue. And then the chef's table, you can see him preparing those small courses, 6 to 9 courses paired with wines. So those are our dining venues, and you have a choice. You just make a reservation of where you want to sit. You can always dine anytime in the main restaurant. This is another picture that captures the chef's table. It's a wonderful, intimate meal. I always try to do mine on the last night or the second to last night, because it really just finishes my cruise. The menu will not change for the 7 nights that you're going in the direction that you're going in. So most passengers will eat maybe once or twice here. And then because we have so many other choices, they'll choose other dining venues. So it's a great option, and you just have to make a reservation. So we're gonna go on board, look at the deck plan, look at some of the room categories in the staterooms. So you can see here where everything is located. I just always put the deck plan. And of course, we have the pop-up sky bar up here, and of course, the pool and whirlpool, and then the walking track. Those of you that want to stay in shape and maybe walk off your meals, you can certainly do that. And then we do have our Zen Wellness Studio here. And then, of course, we move to the front and we have our main lounge. We have the lower lounge, and of course, the alfresco restaurant, and then the rest is going to be in these 2 here. So Jimmy's, also the chef's table, and the elevator here is 7. So you've got elevator from top to bottom. So let's start with 252 square feet. And this is a beautiful, nice size room. And I'm just picking out a couple of room categories. So you've got a veranda here, very well appointed. Rooms, the luggage goes under the bed. These are very, very well appointed. Flat screen TVs, sitting areas. This one actually has a veranda. You have a balcony, so you move up in square footage, so 355 square feet. These are very large staterooms for river. Remember, you've got Apple monitors here, just really nicely done. Then we move up a little bit larger and you've got 424 square feet. So as you move up in room category, of course, you move up in that personal space. And then we do have one suite, and it's the owner suite. It's 710 square feet. So, it's really a good size if you want that personal space on board. And of course, in our suites, we do have butler service that gives you, and this is a beautifully appointed bedroom. All of our staterooms have, as you can see, that bathrobe and slippers in all of our suites. So in all of our room categories. So you don't have to get a suite in order just to get the bathrobe and slippers. And here's the owner's bathroom. It has a bathtub. So maybe you want to splurge and do the owner suite on one of Dusty's groups. So we do have our wellness program, and I always tend to show this, but realize that you don't have to exercise. We're not trying to make you exercise. Some of our passengers want to live a little bit more healthier lifestyle on board, and they want to maybe continue their yoga. We do have champagne yoga, so don't knock it till you try it. And then spinning with a view. Look at this view, on the back of the vessel, going down the river and being able to, bike ride. And remember, if you want to ask any questions, you can put them in the chat section section, or you can just take yourself off of mute and we can certainly answer the questions, okay? You're all very, very quiet. So all of you, I think, are on mute. And then we have a Zen wellness bar. That's part of our the 6 bars that we have on board. And then these are the pictures of the upper lounge bar. There's so many nooks and crannies and places just to be alone, have a drink with a passenger. Remember, there's only 196 passengers, so there's a lot of spaces that are very unique. You can play cards, you can just converse, read a book, have an intimate little party with just your group. The lower lounge library, there's a lot of nooks and crannies that you can relax. If you just want to sit and just watch the river go by, you can certainly do that. They all have floor to ceiling glass windows and great views. And of course, the starboard library and the cinema again. We do have an elegant boutique on board. If you would like to buy something for your friends and family, you can certainly do that on board. And then our beautiful pool outside with a swim up bar. We do have the walking track you see along the way, but it's just a really good space. You definitely need to be up here when we're scenic sailing the Vaca Valley. This is the best place to be. Grab a beer or a glass of wine, because this is where you want to be when we're scenic sailing. And we do have a little bit of scenic sailing. So let's look at the Danube and some of the areas. And I did add a couple of my personal pictures because this is Budapest, and this is a beautiful picture of the Parliament. Remember that, and this would be starting with this is Christmas markets on the Danube. And then of course, Magna on the Danube, the wine cruise that Dusty chose, and I'll show you a map of that, goes in opposite direction. So it'll go from Wilshofen to Budapest, but still you have some opportunities for pre and post. But this is the Danube in Budapest, and Buda and Pest, the left and the right hand side, and the Danube runs right through it. So there's a lot to see in Budapest. Highly recommend doing a little bit of extension in Budapest, because there's so much to see and do. Hero Square, Fisherman's Bastion, there's just so much to see. You definitely want to go to the market in Budapest. But this is a picture. We were coming into Budapest and I just had to grab the Parliament. So this is during the day, and it's a color picture, but not as quality as we got that one. And then we get to Vienna, and of course Vienna, you're going to have choices of up to 6 excursions. So you may choose to do a city tour. I actually took a picture. This is one, the Lipizzaner Stallions. You may be able to see the Lipizzaner Stallions, St. Stephen's Cathedral. And of course, this statue, famous statue in one of the squares, was the plague monument, when they had the plague. Also, when I was in August, the crowds weren't there. So I was able to sit right in that little section here. I don't know if you can see my mouse, at a cafe, and had a wonderful meal, had a beautiful meal. So St. Stephen's Cathedral, the square kind of sits around it. There's so much to see and do. I love to people watch in Vienna. The women are dressed fabulously, their shoes. I just love to watch people watch and grab a table at this little cafe and just drink wine and just sit and enjoy. But when the Lipizzaner stallions are there, that's a wonderful thing to do. And you'll see that in your city tour. Depends on what time of year and where the horses are, but just thought I would let you see that. And there you have Český Krumlov, where you have Bratislava, beautiful, beautiful Bratislava. So remember, in each of these, that's Bratislava Castle hike, you can go all the way up to the castle. But remember, you have up to 6 choices. You can, take the castle hike. You've got a walking tour. During Christmas markets, you will have a Christmas market at the top of the castle, which is incredible. So in each of these destinations, you will have up to 6 choices. Plus, if it's Christmas markets, you'll do Christmas markets. If it's a wine tour that we'll talk about in just a bit, you're going to be doing tastings on board and off. Important to know that we on these themed cruises, you will participate in the normal program. So all the Christmas markets are just going to be lagniappe. You're going to be able to visit them, and we'll go to even more of them. So it's just on top of our regular program. And then wine cruises, Magna on the Danube, with our wine theme cruise, you will have tastings on board, off board. So in addition to what we're already doing, you will have tastings that are part of the wine cruise. So it's really a great value because you're getting more on these themed cruises. This is the beautiful Vaca Valley, and this looks like it's probably about the same time I was there in August. Lush green. This is about 26 miles that will do scenic sailing, and the best place to do it is going to be at the top on the sun deck. Always a good choice. And we do have one of our cruise managers that will talk about what we're seeing, some of the castles, some of the chateaus that we see along the Vaca Valley, and talk a little bit about the wines. So it's really educational and very relaxing. We normally go on board on the sun deck. We'll give you a glass of maybe apricot schnapps or something to do with apricots, because that is the Vaca Valley is well known for apricots, and a fabulous wine or maybe even an appetizer. So it's a wonderful way to scenic sail and just relax. Dürstein, we're coming into Dürstein, one of my favorites, absolute favorites. King Richard Lionheart was held here when he was imprisoned. And this is my picture. We can go into Melk Abbey. This is actually Melk Abbey. It has the largest literary collection of books, and it's a working abbey. This is some of the grounds. I took some of the pictures here that you'll see. Beautiful, very memorable. We sat in the abbey and the cathedral, and the pipe organ was playing, and I thought the only better thing would be to hear a concert. So it is a school, and it was probably one of the best guides I had on the trip. She just graduated from Melk, and she was truly talked about little hallways that they take, but really intimate details, because she had been going to school there for 12 years. So it was she was an incredible tour guide and very well spoken. So it was a great tour. This is also a picture. When I tell you we're going to do some tastings in the vineyards and the vines, this is how close. This is one of my pictures in Dürstein where we're doing a tasting at a vineyard. So this is how close you get to the vineyard. On the walk there, you can take pictures in the vines. You can see the grapes are very, very young. Um, and it was a beautiful, beautiful day. So just wanted to, and of course, apricots and sweet tasting. You're going to have jams. You're going to have schnapps, clear schnapps, and then you have the fruit schnapps, the wines, just incredible, incredible. And that's the harvest for them, apricot, when it's an apricot season. And then now we're going to switch over to wine. Magna on the Danube, a wine themed cruise. Now remember, we've got the regions of wine, and here you have here on the Danube, you're going to have some really, really on the Vaca Valley, Kempstal, Krimstal, and then Sketchgard region along here, and you can see where these regions are along the way. And we really give you those wines of the region on board. We're known for that. So this is the itinerary for Magna on the Danube for the wine cruise. So you're going to go from Wilshafen to Budapest. You will have an opportunity to do a pre-extension if you would like. Highly, highly recommend doing a Prague extension, and that's going to be a 3-night, or Munich. It depends on what you would like. I finally got to Prague, and I can't talk enough about it. I would highly recommend. We do the long haul from Prague to Wilshafen, and we stop along the way for lunch and a beer stop, I call it. So it's a wonderful itinerary, and it's full of wine tastings on board, off board. We do have a wine paired dinner. We will have a North American host that will accompany you, and we'll pair their wines with a meal. I actually was on a wine themed cruise on the Douro, and I was able to sit with the captain, and we talked about the pairings, and it was very intimate of how we pair certain wines with certain foods, and it was very interesting. So I did get an education in pairing wines with a meal. So you will have plenty of meals that are paired with the finest wines on the Vaca Valley. We do have 60 a year that we host, and there's specially curated food and tastings. We have wine rooms. We have lectures on tastings of wines and the history of the wine too, not just the wines itself. And also, I talked about that North American host that will be along with Dusty as your host on there. But the pairings that we do with wine, these are very specially curated to bring out the flavors of the wine and also pair with the foods. So it was a very interesting process that you get to be a part of. And then the second group, Magna on the Danube wine cruise is going to be March 26th through April 2nd. And I know that Dusty's going to talk a little bit about that, but it is Wilshafen to Budapest. And then Christmas markets on the Danube. What a magical time. I can't talk. I'll show you some pictures in just a bit, and you'll see how wonderful it is for Christmas markets. It's just a magical time. And that is December 10th through the 17th. You will have an opportunity to do 2 nights pre-cruise in Budapest, also post in Prague. Highly recommend doing both of those. If you have the time, really take the time to do both. Those pre and post stays can really make your journey. This is Gary. This is one of our owners on a holiday market. He's actually on the Magna. They're in Jimmy's right now. And this is what it looks like. All of the Christmas markets are in the squares. So all of these squares are decorated. And by this time, December 10th, because the Christmas markets actually start they start setting up right at Thanksgiving. So this is prime time for Christmas market season. All the booths will be set up. Some markets you have inside of markets. You're going to collect mugs. Glühwein is the wine of choice. And I like to eat my way through, but you're going to see a lot of wares that are just incredible. They're not very westernized. Some of these, I know that there's glass blowing and certain vendors that come and they give their wares just for Christmas markets. It's really just magical. It's normally very, very chilly, very cold. Bring comfortable boots, bring comfortable shoes, because you definitely want to make sure that you have comfortable and you stay dry. This is in Budapest in the squares. I know in Budapest, you may go into one market, come out of another market, enter another market, and all of them, because you'll see people that are holding the mugs. These are highly collectible, and they're a different color mug or a different shape, or some may be a boot, some may be just regular mugs. You can collect all of the mugs that they will have a different glühwein in each, and that's mulled wine, mulled spice wine, and the crutch displays. It's all about the reason for the season, and it's incredible. You have life size, you have the cathedrals are decorated beyond. It's the simplicity of the Christmas season. You know, I know you have a lot of, you know, not a lot of Western wares, but you do have a lot of memories that you're going to bring through food. You can almost smell when you walk into the Christmas market. You know, they've got sausage on the grill, you know, different, excuse me, different cities are known for different foods. Excuse me. So it's a lovely, lovely time of year to be at Christmas markets. And if you want to know more information, we can certainly send you some information on Christmas markets and this particular sailing in December. So remember, I talked about our pre and post stays, and you do have an opportunity to do pre and post on both of these trips. It really lets you start your journey. You have your cruise manager that you'll meet that afternoon. You'll have a welcome reception, and we do a lot of touring. So you get to see extra markets before you even get on the river cruise. So if you buy your air with AMA, we do have the transfers that will be included. And of course, accommodations, we do have our accommodations. Our hotels are 4+ 5-star properties. They're in the heart of the city. So in Old Town Prague, this is Munich. Breakfast is included each morning, of course, a city tour, and then of course the all-important hotel ship transfers. So it's really an inclusive package when you purchase a pre and post. It really lets you see that destination before you get on board. If you are interested in sailing in 2022, we've got a deal for you. So 7 nights river cruise in a French balcony. This is only applicable to 2022. So maybe you say, Laurie and Dusty, I'm ready to go now. I can get that for you. We've got this on sale. Round trip airfare over 24 gateways now. Dallas is one. Pre or post cruise land package. Transfers, port charges, travel waiver plus, and that's in a French balcony. It's an inclusive package, and it starts at $54.99 per person. So you may say, I really want to go this year and next year. It's not applicable for 2023. It's only applicable for 2022 sailings, and you've got until June 30th to book it. Some of the free land packages you'll get: 2 nights Budapest, 2 nights Amsterdam, or 3 nights Prague. So if you are picking an itinerary, Paris, that starts or ends in Paris, Zurich or Lucerne or Lake Como, it's just a $500 per person surcharge. So you would add $500 to the $54.99, which is still a great, great deal because it's an all-inclusive package. And then those of you that maybe are going solo, we do have a 25% single supplement charge. So it's not 200%, and that's category C to AA. You can upgrade that. You can add maybe premium economy, business class. You can upgrade your stateroom. It's up to you. And we have over 75 sailings for you to choose from. So if you want to go in 2022, this is the deal for you. Also, I have a really, really short window. This is a day of show special. You have to book it within 7 days, and it's a 2-for-1. It's only on this sailing. It's Rhine Castles and Swiss Alps, and it's on the Ama Serena, October 31st. That is the only thing. It is that specific date that you have to book, and you have to book it within 7 days of tonight. So if you always want to go on AMA, this is a perfect solution for you. You'll never get it this inexpensive. It's a 2-for-1. If you need to get away, I always like to mention it, but really focus on Dusty's groups, because these are truly 2 of my favorite times of the year to go. So that's it for me. And I'm going to invite Dusty to come back on and see if anyone has any questions.
Oh my goodness, that was Bo and I were texting back and forth going, because we did the AmaMagna back in November, and so all of that was just bring back all these memories of just everything we experienced, and it was just oh, I can't wait to get back on it. Can't wait to get back on that ship. So.
Let's see, do we have any questions in the chat box? Somebody has to have a question.
Any.
I know. Oh, there we go. Somebody's got a question. Let's see. Thank you, Laura. You covered everything. I did. I probably went on and on. I could go on and on, just like Dusty mentioned. The AmaMagna is our flagship, and she's a beautiful vessel. And Dusty has picked 2 fantastic themed cruises, and you can't beat that, right? My 2 favorite.
Yeah, and the Magna too. I wish we could just, we could spend the whole time just talking about the Magna, just how amazing that ship is alone. It's the room that we had we didn't have the owner suite, unfortunately. Okay. But even the bathroom in that one was just, it was great size. It was well set up. You didn't feel crowded or anything like some ships you get on, even ocean and river, you feel like you're like this in the bathrooms. And we felt like we had plenty of room. We weren't hitting our elbows on sides of the walls, taking a shower and things like that. And it was just the whole thing. It was just well apportioned. The service on board. We did the AmaMagna back in November and the AmaPrima in March, and pretty much the only difference was there were 2 different rivers. I mean, the quality of the service, the quality of the food was just outstanding the whole time. So we have just been really blessed with our experiences with AMA, and just we are AMA people all the way.
Oh, that's fantastic.
It's a wonderful company, and just hearing the stories of how they worked with their employees through COVID. There was one story that we got that the people that come on board aren't technically employees of AMA. They are contractors. They're independent contractors. And so one group that came on told us, this was on AmaPrima, talked about how much they loved AMA, and how well taken care of they were with AMA through COVID, and when they weren't sailing, and saying that AMA had hired them to record their music. It was a string trio, and asked them to record their music and paid them for that. And then they were actually giving out the digital music on board to all the clients, and that's what kept them employed, but also food on their table during COVID. And so for a company to do that, it's just that just kind of seals the deal for me in a lot of ways. And just that attention to they care about their employees, they care about their clients, and that goes all the way down. There was a day on the Magna that I was not feeling well. I had a reaction to some medicine I was taking, and one of the bartenders had heard that from somebody, and just immediately came over and said, "Here, drink this. I think it'll help you." And without me even asking, just knew, and offered something to help take care of me in that regard. And I just think that's unheard of in customer service these days.
Absolutely. I mean, you're going to be pampered and spoiled, and get home and say, okay, where is Rodriguez, or where is Sylvia? Because I'm not.
What do you mean I have to make my own bed?
Absolutely. Or get my own tea in the morning. Every time I'm on board, they know I drink, hot tea and English breakfast. Miss Smith, can I get English breakfast for you this morning? And it's just incredible. It really, really is. So if you want to be pampered spoiled to death. You need to take one of these trips with Dusty. And I know Dusty's going to really, really take good care of you also while you're on board, but it's going to be a fun trip. The times of year and the themes that he has picked, I can't tell you. Christmas markets is magical. And I just experienced my first wine cruise, and I came back and I said, okay, I have experienced every type of wine. I know the history of the wine, which is really, really unique. So definitely take advantage of it. Take advantage of pricing. And of course, Dusty can give you that pricing. And if you have any questions after this, we do have the recording of it. And I know Dusty will send it out. So thank you so much.
Yeah, I'll send you all that. I also added in the chat, I put a link, and that will take you to a landing page that I created for the 2 different groups if you're interested in looking at those. It goes to a little detail about the itineraries and how they're a little bit different, and other than going in reverse of each other. And also it gives some links to the deck plan and some of the staterooms and stuff that you can look at and see some of those. And I believe it includes just the generic pricing right now. It doesn't include any of the promotionals that are going on. Okay. Right now, if you book before June 30th for the wine cruise, it's $750 off per person, which is amazing. Okay. The Christmas markets cruise, if you book before June 30th, is $1,000 per person, which is incredible. And particularly for that type of experience that you're going to get, you're not going to find that anywhere else. So we are, and if you can't go with some of those dates, we are happy to help you find other dates that you can go on. I know Lori was talking about the promotions for 2022. Yes. And so Dream Vacations has some an exclusive promotional with AmaWaterways right now for select sailings. This isn't for every sailing, but on some of the select sailings for 2022, you can get up to $300 in onboard credit when you book, but you have to do it through me. So I'm happy to do that for you. It's a wonderful cruise line. We are all the way here in this household. We just love Ama, and it's an experience that you'll just never forget. It's just the people, the quality of what you get, what you experience is amazing.
Now, Dusty, I think Bridget has her hand up.
Yes.
Bridget?
Yeah, I'm sorry to have arrived late. It's a long story. You don't want to hear it. Okay. But I just want to pipe in and first of all, sing Dusty's praises. But I also want to say that I have done both the Danube cruises, wine and not wine. And just to bring up how different they are in some very interesting ways. So I would suggest that you all do both of them so you could experience, because the wine cruise was, Dusty, a bit different. And it was different in some really fun wine related ways, some off the boat wine excursions that I wasn't expecting. I thought it was going to be very similar. So it's similar, but the wine part of it is really fun. So if you're interested in wine, it's all about the fun part of wine, especially in Austria and Germany. Highly recommend it.
Fantastic. Thank you, Bridget.
Thanks, Bridget.
Welcome. I wish I could come.
Well, it's not until 2023, so you've got some time, and of course, what a fantastic partner Dusty is for us. We don't sell to the public. Our partners mean the world to us, and they send us a lot of business. So thank you so much, Dusty, for having me tonight. Thank all of you for joining, and hope to see you on board. Hope to see you on board. Any other questions, you can reach out to Dusty. I'm sure he can handle those questions, but thank you so much, Dusty, for having me. I will send the recording out so you'll have it available, and everyone have a wonderful night. And thank you so much for having me.
Thanks, Lori. Good night, everyone.
Bye-bye.